Momentum. Two passionate and busy moms sharing their quest to achieve entrepreneurial success.
Hi, everybody. It's Theresa Opstad,
And Ariella Vaccarino.
and we are from
Momentum. And this is our special Mother's Day episode.
Happy Mother's Day, all you moms
Mother's
out
Day.
there. You deserve this day. We all as moms do so much for everyone else. Sometimes we forget to stop and take care of ourselves.
Yeah, it's really hard to spend money on ourselves. It's hard to take time for ourselves because we can always think of things we can do with that money and time for our kids and our family.
Yeah. So today we want to remind all of you moms out there that it's so important. So in order to do that, Ariella and I have volunteered to show you what it's like. We were able to spend the day today at Burke Williams. We got some amazing services done and got to enjoy this wonderful, wonderful, serene, luxurious surroundings.
Yes. And we are so lucky because JT and James, they're the general managers.
Yes.
They asked us to be collaborators with them on this episode. So we are so honored and so excited to say we collaborating with Burke Williams for
Yes.
this Mother's Day episode. So
Yes. But I want to share.
Yeah.
So from the second that I called to say, hey, we have a special episode that we want to share to show that moms really deserve to take that time for self-care. That's really what this episode is about.
Yep.
And when I called, first of all, the very first person I spoke to on the phone, she was amazing. She was super nice. And she was like, oh my gosh, this podcast sounds amazing. I want to start listening to it. And she was so sweet and nice. She set up our appointments and then transferred me to the general manager. And he was lovely as well. And when I explained what we wanted to do, what our mission is, what our podcast is all about, helping mompreneurs and just
Celebrate them, learn from them, become them.
Share their successes and their challenges that they go through, and that they all need to be rejuvenated and they need to take this time to care for themselves. He was so excited and so sweet and lovely that he, offered to have us do the podcast in here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is amazing.
We are on location at Burke Williams in the village near where we live. And it's such a lovely, lovely spa.
Yes, it's a lovely. And so we just wanted to take a moment to take this all in. It's been so relaxing and rejuvenating. But let me also share with you, because it was super exciting while working with James. He explained the history of Burke Williams and how it first started. First of all, it started by another Theresa, which I love.
Oh, yes.
And she's a mother.
When you were telling me this story, I was like, what do you mean? What did you do?
Another Theresa. She spells her name the same as I do.
Yeah.
But Theresa and Bill Armour are the founders of this luxurious facility, and they have an amazing story. You need to go online and read all about their story and how they started, but they really do focus on family. And part of the reason why she started it was to be able to take that time for moms and women in general, or anybody who just needs to stop and rejuvenate themselves. They focus on wellness. They focus on family. They focus on all of the same things that we do. What our podcast is all about. It's just such a great collaboration of the two. So we're
I think
super
she
excited.
didn't want to have to go all the way to Palm Springs, right?
Yes.
To have a relaxing day. So that's what was the impetus for them to start Burke Williams.
1984 is when they first founded. And at that time, they didn't have things like this. So in the city,
Right.
but they had them other places.
Right. You would never know here at the village that you come upstairs, what is inside. They've got like jacuzzis and saunas. It's a spa and all these wonderful services. And it's a beautiful location. You would never know that this even existed because it's inside of this, mall.
Yeah. Outdoor mall. It's a beautiful
Right.
mall.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Wait,
but-
can I just say that? Can I just put it out there that we would love, you know what I'm
We
going to
would
say?
love to interview you, Theresa,
Love it.
the founder of Burke Williams.
Oh my gosh, it would be
You
amazing.
are
What an inspiration. Yeah.
to all of us mompreneurs out there. We want to hear your story. We want to know how it started. We want to know how you do it with the family. That's what all of our interviews so far have been about. So hopefully we'll make that happen one day. audience and moms out there.
And thank you for making it so easy for our boyfriends and husbands and partners and friends to get us gifts to such a wonderful, rejuvenating experience so close to our homes.
Yeah, absolutely. And they do have Mother's Day packages. We'll have the link in the special.
Here's the
here.
Mother's Day package that they're having here, which is really cool. And we're just totally excited that they let us into their amazing facility to do this episode today.
Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you.
And so again, and then the day didn't stop there. Of course, we stopped to have some services done here and enjoy the facilities.
We got naked together.
Oh my God. Don't tell anybody. Funny.
It was really funny.
I was so embarrassed.
It was totally
I'm like,
weird.
Bathing suit. I don't know. We never do this. It's probably the first time in many years that I've done a spa experience, because again, as moms, we don't stop to think about that stuff and take care of ourselves. It's okay. Where do I need to go? Where do I need to drop off my kids? What do I need to do for work? What do I need to do for my business? What do I need to do for my husband? What do I need to do? And you don't stop to go, what do I need to do for me?
That's right. And I will say, in a lot of other countries, spa is a normal part of your life. And I've been to some spas where literally there's just like hundreds of women standing around naked getting scrubs, and everybody's casual, any kind of body you can imagine. I'm not used to that.
No,
Teresa's not
neither
used
am
to that. But we did it. And then so we handled it and we were laughing like idiots, and then or trying not to laugh too loud because it's a spa.
And there are people outside the doors here.
Yes, totally. But then we also, when we went into the steam room, we had our robes or our towels half on. So we could just have a normal conversation and not feel like we're pretending that we don't realize each other is naked. But I'm sure I could get used to it.
And then it's so funny because I was like, oh, well, we can't video in here, but who said we can't do audio? We should have brought a little recorder in.
Yeah.
And then Ariella showed me her Apple Watch. And I was like, oh, we can record. We're in the steam room right
Yeah,
now.
it's like I'm sure it's in one of our reels, or maybe it's in this video. I don't know. It's 15 seconds of us, but
was
we had a
just
lovely
fun.
day. Great day.
And then the day didn't end there. We
Nope.
also went and had
Food,
lunch.
lunch.
Of course.
Lunch.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we went to a place and we got to try this amazing product.
Yes, because we are having another mompreneur on for an interview coming up. We're really excited about it. And she was on Shark Tank and they offered her a fantastic deal. And her product is in thousands of stores at the moment. And we got to taste her product. You got to try it. I've tried it many times.
So I'm not a vegan or vegetarian, but I'm willing to try anything. And this was really, really good. It really was. So I'm super excited I got to try her product before we have her on for her interview.
Yes,
but it is coming up.
a circle. It's like then we went downstairs and we tried the product for this person that we're interviewing. And then it's just like, and now we're back up and we're doing our episode inside a special room that they prepared for us.
Yes. Look at how beautiful it was. Flowers.
Yeah, there's a plate here.
There's a plate of
fruit and chocolates,
yes.
which we'll dive into after.
Yes, exactly. So that's our day today. And mommies and mommies,
I like mommies or mamas. She's more of a mom.
We're all women in general, but you deserve to take time for yourself.
And whatever that is, Burke Williams, or just a walk in the park and just go pick yourself some flowers in a field. I don't know. Whatever it is, just take a moment for yourself. Take a bath, drink some champagne in the bathtub. I don't know what people like to do.
Yeah. Whatever your thing is, just do it.
Yeah. Take time for yourself. Ideally a few minutes every day for sure. But if not, whenever you can, if you can get to a spa once a month, wow. Yeah. Once a quarter. Yeah. Fine. Great.
So today is our Mother's Day episode, and we wanted to share some amazing things about moms in general.
Okay.
But I wanted to start with just a story of my mom. My mom, I love my mom. I miss my mom. And you know what? This episode, I might cry, and that's okay. But
it's a tribute.
It is. I love my mom. I miss my mom. She's passed since 2016, but she was just an amazing mom. She really, really taught me to be myself. And, when others were saying, oh, don't go out and get dirty, just go get in the dirt, go play, go, that's what baths are for. Who cares? Get your hands dirty, have fun, be yourself. And she was just such an inspiration. She really was. And so I just wanted to share that with you today, that, all of us moms out there, I just wanted to take that little bit of tribute to remember my mom. I wear this necklace every day, or most days. It's a locket with her picture of her and I at my wedding in it. And I also wear these bracelets because I think I may have shared on another episode that she wanted to be planted as a tree. And so the tree of life is on my bracelets and with the beads, and it just reminds me of her. Also the color green reminds me of her. So you'll see me oftentimes wearing a green shirt with this necklace. And what that means is I just felt like having her present with me that day. And so you may see that shirt many times on our episodes. And we talk about the fact that we have to do quick changes when we're batching episodes, but that shirt I wear constantly throughout the year. And so there will be many episodes you'll see with me wearing that green shirt with this necklace. And then just real quickly, the little charm here is my son. So it's also, this episode is also about what it's like to be a mom.
Yeah.
And you know, Ariella has 5 kids. I have 1. We know what it's like to be a mom.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I just wanted to share that. There's so many special things about moms.
I mean, it's the most fulfilling thing you could ever have. I mean, I know personally, I never even thought about being a mom because I was an opera singer and that was really my goal in life.
Mm-hmm.
And when the pregnancy happened upon me and my husband, I was shocked, stunned. And if son, can you imagine you marry someone you never once even talked about having children? That's how we were focused. He was like a film writer and I was an opera singer and, you know, and there we found ourselves pregnant. And then boom, after 5 months, I was of my first son being 5 months old, I was pregnant again. That's insane. It was crazy. And then I don't know, it just kept happening. I mean, I know how it happened, but yeah. So and I'm 5 kids in and, but there is something, the gaping hole that I always had, it's that just got filled up. It really did. Yeah. You know, years ago, I don't know if I ever talked about this, but years ago, I was battling some depression and I was, you know, my mother has, you know, died when I was in my 30s and I'll talk about her in a second. But afterwards I went and had some therapy and I remember, and I was an opera singer and I remember the therapist at one point said to me, I don't think you're depressed. She said, I think you're bored. And this was before I was married and before I had 5 kids and 5 dogs. And it's kind of interesting because there was this thing waiting for me that I didn't even know about, hadn't even thought about. Yeah. And now it's like a part of my, how could I have not been doing all of that? And what was I doing before? You know? So that's always a very big moment for me that when she's like, I don't think you're depressed, I think you're bored. And so I didn't realize how much I needed to keep me going. And that's what I needed. I needed all my students. I needed my children. I needed whether a podcast or perform, whatever it was, I needed a lot to stay at kind of level. Because I had a lot to give. Right? I mean, that's it. When you have that mom, you have all that to give and you don't have the children, you know, that's part, you know, I mean, not everyone can have children. So, but that find a way to give in your life. And just to talk about, to mention that, you know, for me, I always wanted to be a mom. I knew I wanted to be a mom. I remember when I was a teenager and I would talk to my mom. Now, first of all, I'm an only child and I always wanted to have a brother or sister. I don't know if that's where it comes from. Like, okay, I can have a brother or sister, I'm a child. I don't know, but I just know I always wanted to be a mom. And when I was young, I was in a car accident and my mom came running to the hospital and she was the first thing I saw when I woke up because it was a severe accident that I was unconscious for many hours. But when she got to the hospital, I woke up and I remember her saying to the doctors, can she still have children? Wow. Because she knew how important it was to me. Wow. How old were you when that happened? I was in my early 20s. It was after I met my husband, but we weren't dating yet. So we had just started working together, as a matter of fact. And I was in this, we met and I'll share this full story another time, but we met and I was in this massive accident and then I came back to work and then we actually started dating after that accident. But I did have a broke my pelvic bone. And so that's where she was so concerned about me being able to have children. Did it affect your pregnancy? It did not, because that was many years later that I ended up getting pregnant and having my son. So I just share that because I knew I always wanted to be a mom. And so now it's funny because when my husband and I first met, we were only dating maybe a few months and we started talking about kids, you know? So it was like,
Well,
It was different. I mean, we were artists. It's just different.
yeah, but it was kind of like, well, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? It
Yeah.
wasn't like we were saying, oh, we want to have a kid today.
Yeah.
We just wanted to find out what each other's aspirations were, what we looked forward to in life.
Mhm.
And I remember us bonding over wanting to have a family and being family oriented.
Yeah.
So there is a lot that my husband and I are very similar on, but yet so
Oh,
opposite.
totally.
So we met and we were talking about, how many kids we wanted to have. And it was so funny because he was like, I want to have a big family. I have to have at least 5 kids for basketball team.
That's great.
And when that movie Cheaper by the Dozen came out, I remember he went to go see it with his family. I had to work that day. And he goes, that's it. We're having 12 kids. And I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I want a big family too, but 12, that's a lot.
Well,
How
he
am I
has
gonna
a-
do that.
He has sports teams. That's probably why he
Yeah.
loves all that.
Yeah.
He's just such a great coach.
So I recently did a reel and I said, it was like celebrate your Children's Day or something like that. And so I posted and I said, happy Children's Day, with a picture of me and my one son, which,
Yeah.
he's an only child. And then my 53 other kids.
That's true.
So we did have a big family.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's the love that you give. That was for me. I was teaching students for years. I didn't realize that I was a motherly person. I mean, like I literally didn't know that I would ever be a mother.
Mhm.
And it's interesting because I was this voice teacher who would go from house to house and really nice houses, nice, really fancy homes. And they would let me bring my little dog. My dog's name was Chewbacca. And I bring my dog to the fanciest houses. These houses literally would have like chefs and maids and nannies. And I would come in as the voice and piano teacher. They all knew me with my little dog. It's the weirdest, funny thing. But I never realized that was like, I was already starting like this mothering thing, but I was just focused on this like opera.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting because we talk about, I have this other podcast called the Talented Magical Mommies Club. So if you want to know more about me in that aspect, but my husband and I, we were both artists when we first came together, both only children, but our, the thing we loved was our art.
Yes.
And then when we transferred over in becoming parents, that's kind of a whole nother thing that I'm going through and talking about. But, yeah,
being a mom is amazing.
yeah.
And,
Yes.
because there were things that happened in our life that may not have been healthy, medically wise for me to have additional children. My husband and I even considered adopting at one point. I even asked Trenton, my son,
Yeah.
because he always wanted a brother or sister. And I said, what would happen if we couldn't have another one? Would you care if it was adopted or not? And he goes, I don't care. I just want a brother or sister. And he's so sweet. And I said, oh, well, what would you prefer, a brother or a sister? And he goes, I thought, of course, he'd say a brother because he'd want to have this pal, this friend he could play with. And he goes, I think I'd want to have a sister. And because his cousin has sisters. And he goes, because, my cousins are just so darn cute.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And then another time I asked him, okay, so if we did adopt, would you rather adopt a baby so you could be with that sibling your entire life, its entire life, or would you rather adopt somebody that's your age and maybe go to the same college or whatever, and he said, that he would prefer to adopt somebody his own age, but that they would have to go to the same college. And I'm like, okay, well, why? Because we were driving behind somebody and they had 2 different colleges on the back of their plate.
Oh,
so
I
obviously they had 2 different, kids going to different places. He goes, because I wouldn't be able to do holidays without them. Like we'd have to be together. So he just has this love in his heart. And, but again, I think that it really does even help him to be part of this basketball group because there's so many of those kids that he connects with all the time. And he's great at helping to mentor and coach the younger kids too. I could see this being something that he would want to take on one day. But I wanted to share that part.
That's awesome. When you're part of a team or you're part of a show that, you do get a family experience, and your husband heads it up. So it's pretty awesome to be the son growing up in that,
and wanting to kind of just jump in and help, I love that about him. Yeah.
So my mom, I lost her in my early 30s. It sucks, but, I lost her before I got married and before I had children. But I remember my husband and I reconnected, or a whole story, but we reconnected while she was very sick. And the minute she found out, she was so relieved. And I remember her saying, it's sad, but I remember her saying, oh, she can't wait to be a grandma and push the stroller down the beach. She never got to do that. But she had a tough life. You know, her parents were in the Holocaust, and they were from Poland, and the terrible stories. So she was brought up with just like atrocities told to her all the time. And but she was born in a refugee camp in Germany, and then she was lost for a while, and then they got to Israel, and life was tough. You know, all these people were there. They had come out of the Holocaust. They were all displaced. They were all learning a new language. So it was a tough kind of experience for her. And I think my mom was filled with a lot of light and energy and fun, kind of like I'm a little fun. And some of my kids got that too, which is so nice. But she didn't really get some of these opportunities that I get, because she was brought up with some tough things in her home, and, you know, her parents having just a really bad history. Yeah. So she tried her best with me. And it was interesting because she always encouraged me as an opera singer and as an actress, but never talked about me having family, except that one day I said, when she found out I had reconnected with my now husband. But I think it's because she never got to do any of that stuff herself. You know, when I think about her, if you would have seen her body, she was in such good shape. She looked like a gymnastics like winner, like her body. She was in the craziest muscles on her calves, and, you know, she loved to dance, but all these things, she never got to go after her dreams. You know, I know that having me was a wonderful thing for her, but she never really got to pursue who she could have been. And we don't all get to do that. Yeah. So I, you know, really want to take that moment and be lucky that I think about that a lot. Like, we're going after these dreams and it's so hard, how we're going to get there, but at least we get to do that, because a lot of people in the world are struggling with things that can't even get to the dreams. Right. So yeah, so I miss her, but you know, she's inside of me. Yeah.
And my mom too. And thank you for sharing that, by the way, because I didn't know any of that about her mom. So
we don't know that much about each other.
I know you guys are listening and hearing everything along this along as we are as well. So, you know, that's the thing, is that, you know, past generations, everything was different, and we have so much that we can go after nowadays. And you know, you sharing that, I could hear and I could feel the talented Magical Mommies Club coming out of you, and part of that's probably from your mom, and understanding that she didn't get to experience these things, and you feeling the things you've shared with us here and shared on your other podcast. It's amazing. I love your podcast. I listen to your podcast, by the way.
Whatever. Thank you.
Past generations, you know, they didn't have the same things and opportunities that we do now. My mom would never have thought of creating her own business. And, you know, quite frankly, I mean, don't get me wrong, she did an amazing job being my mom and taking care of things. My parents got divorced when I was only 6 years old, so she was raising me on her own. And my dad, I got to see him all the time too. He's an amazing guy, and I share some of my story about my dad on some other podcasts. But my mom worked at the same place for over 40 years. She retired from the same place after 40 years. And, you know, again, it was great. It was fabulous that she got to do that. It's fabulous that she got to raise me and supported me. But nowadays we have so many more opportunities. There's so many things out there that we could be doing, that these creative things inside of us can come out. And to be honest, I really, truly feel like my mom is helping guide me, because
it's beautiful.
After she passed, I had a series of things happen. And all along the way, I talk about this, I feel like I'm on a divine journey. But part of that, I feel like it's being guided by my mom. It's funny, I'll share a quick story. After she passed, I was in get to work mode, trying to figure things out. I had to take care of things, had to take care of, you know, a funeral and get everything out of the place she lived. All these things, I was in work mode. But I would have to detour, and I'd have to go shopping for something. I'd have to go pick up a dress for the funeral. I'd have to pick up, you know, just different things. And I literally felt her with me when I was shopping. And I would say to myself, I go, okay, mom, help guide me find the green nail polish that I needed to get, because green was her favorite color. And I was like, I'm going to wear green today for her. And it was so funny, because I found myself in the store and I said, okay, I'm going to find the green nail polish. So I go and I find this green nail polish, but it wasn't quite the shade that I was looking for. I was looking for a different shade, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go around the corner, and if I find it, then just going through my head, like playing around, going, okay, it's got to be over here. And I was looking around, and it was so funny because I found this really light shade of green that I think she would have preferred me to have. And I was really looking for this dark shade of green that I would have preferred to have. And so I was literally battling myself in the store. And then I go, okay, Mom, fine, you win. I'll get the light green. And so it was just funny because shopping was something she really wasn't able to do with me. When my mom was older and before she passed, she was very overweight and very unhealthy. And so it was very difficult for her to get out. There were so many times we love Disneyland. I would love to go to Disneyland with my family, and I would love to have had her come with us because she would have loved to see my son having fun on all the rides. And as a matter of fact, she used to take us, we used to go to lunch with her at Red Robin, and afterwards it was in the mall, so afterwards she would take my son to the carousel and just sit there. Okay, here's your carousel ride, let me watch you ride it. And that's all she could do because she had her little scooter that she could do that in the mall. But anyways, so I just I loved, hearing these stories about my mom and about things that, happened with my son. And she did get to experience being a grandma for a short time. My son was very young when she passed, but I just truly feel like I'm guided by her ever since. And part of this journey that I'm on, the fuller life journey, there's so many things that my mom, I feel like, is guiding me. And also my dad, I'll share my dad's part of the story later on, different podcasts. Today's about Mother's Day and all the moms out there. So today's just a special day. We really just wanted to highlight what it's like to be a mom, what our moms have done for us. And you know what, all the other moms out there too, our mother-in-laws. Mother-in-laws too.
I was just actually going to bring up my mother-in-law. I've been very lucky with her. She lives with us and she held my babies, every baby. She just held them. Like, we never had to have a babysitter. She always took care of the little kids in the house. And that, she was a very different person than my mother, but she really was a huge part of my children's upbringing. So, and she still is, she's in my home, so all my love to her. And, I think about, it's a bummer, you think about your parents and, it's just such a loss when they don't get to experience you as a mother, right? And I'm sure a lot of us have that where our moms aren't around anymore. Yeah. Because I would have loved to have seen my children through her eyes. Yeah.
And, that's the thing. I live with my mother-in-law right now, temporarily until we move back out to the west side of the valley. But she's a very special woman. And, I'm to cry again, but I don't tell her that often enough, because as your mother-in-law, think about it. She has spent her entire life raising her son. Yeah. And here comes this woman taking over. And inserting herself into your son's life. But, and then she's always been open arms and taking me in. And even after my mom passed, that's another special time. And she was like, you can come to me for anything. I'm so sorry. She was very close with my mom. She loved my mom. My mom loved her.
That's so wonderful.
But I do want to say, being a mother-in-law and being a daughter-in-law is not easy. You have to figure out, you have personality differences and, just different thoughts, you're two different people.
But come from different things.
But if you understand that what you truly love is this person that's brought you together, her son, and we both love him and we're both supportive of him, you just find a way to connect and you find a way to work through any differences that you may have.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I share that just because I know there's a lot of people out there that do struggle and many that don't have good relationships with their in-laws. It can be difficult, but if you stop and consider the reason behind it, again, it's not always coming from a place of, negative. It's coming from a place of love. They love their son. They love, you love your husband. And so it sometimes can be challenging. And I don't say this about my mother-in-law,
Yeah.
just being clear, but I am saying this because there are so many different people out there that experience different things and different relationships. But I do love my mother-in-law, and we do get along very well most days. And so I just wanted to share that too. Special moms in different ways.
That's right. And, you know, and sometimes there's these great aunts out there they don't have children, but they have special children in their life that they're really almost like mothers to them. I mean, there's all kinds of levels of motherhood, and I respect all of it. You know, I mean, everybody, and some people have kind of bad moms, but then there's somebody special is in their life that is a mother figure to them. So just kudos out to all the moms out there.
Yes.
And of course, the mompreneurs, which is what we love to celebrate on this
Yes.
podcast.
Yes.
And it was interesting because I was asking the woman who was giving me my facial at Burke Williams, I said, what percentage of the women who come in here are moms? And now we are in a suburban neighborhood, right? But she said 90%.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I remember I used to go to Burke Williams before children when I lived in the city. And I think a lot of people out there didn't have kids, but it was like very different. I would spend such money on myself back then, you know?
Yeah.
So it's interesting that moms are finding the time to do that. And I've got to get better at it. I got to get better.
Me
Maybe.
too.
Yeah.
Me too. Maybe we have to do this once in a while.
Oh, come on, Burke Williams. Let's do
Location
it.
number 2. But you know, and I just wanted to say, because you mentioned other types of moms, but
Yeah.
my husband has that in his life. He has an aunt that has been like a mom to him. He has 2 aunts that have been like a mom to him.
Wow.
One of them did pass away, and her kids were young when she passed as well. And I just want to share really quickly too about her aunt, Auntie Carla.
Yeah.
It was so funny because the day I met her, I was so nervous to meet her because she did not like any of my other husband's girlfriends. And I was like, but I had to pass the Auntie Carla test.
Yeah.
And I was so nervous to meet her. But of course, we met her when we were all at Disneyland. So how can you not like somebody when you meet them at Disneyland? But I passed the Auntie Carla test on the first day. And so she was an amazing mom, and not just to her 2 daughters, but also to my husband and his brother. You know, his family is very, very close. And he has another aunt who wasn't able to have kids, but she treats both Chris and his brother and his 2 cousins like her own. So they do have a very close relationship, and a lot of love, a lot of mom figures, whether it be true moms or moms in the heart.
Yeah, and I want to mention 2 moms. I have my mother's mother, was my grandmother. She had a very rough life, but there's something I get from her. I know she was brilliant. I'm not even saying, I mean, she was a brilliant woman, and she was born to some very Jewish religious people, but they were very poor, and she had a dirt floor back in Poland, and she left the house so she could go study medicine. I mean, this was unheard of at her time. Ended up getting married and having my aunt, but really bad stuff happened, obviously, from the war, and she never, anyway, but she was so smart, but I knew her, and she had a lot of fantastic charisma about her. She made it through the war. And then also my aunt, who's my mom's sister, who is, she's what I have now as a mother figure, especially since my mom is not alive, but I always really loved her. She was like the fun aunt. So
I had one of those too.
Yeah.
But it's funny because my fun aunt is, so there was a 20-year gap between my mom and my aunt. There's only a 10-year gap between us. So she's more like my sister.
Oh yeah, no, this aunt, she's definitely, my mom's sister, but she's a fun woman. And, it's interesting because I do see this certain thing that I have in these women. There's a certain kind of energy, like a little bit of a craziness in all of us, and youthfulness, which I think that might be the word for it, or playfulness. And I see it in those women, and I see it in a few of my kids. So I'm very grateful for that from them. Yeah.
Just some really special women out there, special moms. And that's, today is so special. Again, it's Mother's Day. We wish you all a happy Mother's Day. And enjoy this day. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your day, your special day, anything you want to do on Mother's Day. It's all,
and this isn't officially Mother's Day for us. We're going to have Mother's Day with our own families. This is our Mother's Day.
This is our,
you guys like our
Mother's
robes,
Day.
our Burke Williams
Mother's
robes.
Day.
Look at that. So nice.
Yes.
With a little bling.
With a little bling, have to have the bling.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then after this, we're going to do a little shopping.
Yes. Lots of fun today. But that's part of like, we just love this podcast so much because it is all about sharing the story of mompreneurs.
Yeah.
Because moms do so much already.
Yeah.
And if you're starting or trying to do your own business, you can do it, but it takes so much work. And so we want
much structure, organization.
Yeah, there's so much that, and that's the other thing. That's part of what this podcast is all about. We want everybody to come and listen and be inspired. Be inspired by these moms that we're interviewing. Be inspired by something each one has said. It doesn't mean you have to follow everything and absorb everything. But even if you just take one thing away from each person that we interview, then that's the whole point.
And I do that, even because I edit all our videos, and it may not happen as much in the moment because I'm kind of in it in the moment. But then when I go back and I watch it, I'm like, oh, I just learned this from this person. I just learned this from this person. Yeah. And it's different things for everybody.
Yeah, you're so right about that, because when we're doing the interviews, when we're doing this recording right now, there's a lot of thinking that we're doing. And when we just sit back and listen and editing, and when I'm creating the content, she does the editing, I'll add the content afterwards. We're both so inspired, and we're like, that was really good.
Oh, I'm like, you gotta listen to this week's episode. We're amazing.
Oh my gosh,
it's the best one yet. I do want to highlight Theresa. She made this thing happen with Burke Williams today. I mean, I think I might have had the idea for Burke Williams, but you got on the phone and made it happen. And you got on the phone with James, and thank you so much, James and JT and Burke Williams. I mean, this is such a neat experience. But this is something she's really good at. She's good at getting on the phone and talking to people. And we always talk about knowing your strengths. And I have my strengths too. And it's interesting because I can tell her, and we're starting to learn what we can do for each other. And so I'll be like, oh, I'm going to have Theresa do this. And I think she's the same thing for me.
She's amazing at editing and the creative side and doing a lot of reels and social media. She's great at all that.
It's okay. But yeah, so we're learning what we're doing. And I was just really proud of you. I think we posted a picture, or I have a picture of her doing that. So
on the phone, making the deal happen.
Just as a win for us, for Momentum, this is our first collaboration, right? With Burke Williams, which is a unbelievable company. What a dream, right? It's the first of many. Thank you.
Thank you for saying that, Ariella. But that's the whole point. If you don't ask for what you want, you'll never get it.
That's right.
And why not ask? If when you're talking about things like, if we're talking about our podcast with friends, friends, family, anybody, they want to support you. And if they believe in what you're doing, they will go above and beyond for you. And they really have here. They love the idea of this podcast. They love the idea that we have so many moms as our audience that are working so hard. And as I told them, this whole podcast is about taking a moment and just taking it in and rejuvenating ourselves and focusing on self-care. They were all about that because it's what their mission is. And when you can align with someone else's mission, it just enhances the whole experience. It really does.
And it opens more things up for us and in our minds. I mean, it started when we went to that fantastic restaurant and the owner wanted to take a picture of us, and because we were podcasters, then we realized, we're offering something back. We're offering this audience of incredible moms, right? And mompreneurs. And so we're really needing to spend time to think about what we want to do with this platform. And we've got some amazing things.
We have some great ideas, and we have some amazing interviews coming up,
and some fun things we're doing
fun things, all sorts of stuff to share with you guys. And with you ladies, with you moms
Yeah.
out there. And, you know, again, go to our social media page and share with us some thoughts, some ideas.
Mhm.
What creative things can you think of that you want to see this podcast
Sure.
go towards? You know,
Yes.
what direction do you want to see us go in? We're happy to go on location.
Oh,
We're
all
happy to
to
go
bring us
wherever
out
we
for the
need to.
cruise. Oh,
We're on location now, by the way.
we are not in Burke Williams, in a special room at Burke Williams. How cool
We
is
are
that?
not sitting in Ariella's studio, which
No.
is amazing. We
No.
are in another location.
It's so fun for us. It's so different, you know, in robes.
And it was so funny. You should see us setting up. I think I have a picture or two of us setting up, and they come in and they looked at it and goes, wow, you guys are all official. We are on location and we have ring lights, we have lighting, we have microphones, we have all sorts of
Yep.
cameras and
We'll take
stuff
a picture and
around.
post it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just awesome.
Well, thank you so much for being our listeners.
Mhm.
Happy Mother's Day. We ask for you to subscribe and rate
Mhm.
and share. And we have a Patreon now, so you can send a monthly contribution and keep
Mhm.
us going.
You can either be an affiliate, you could be a sponsor, you can create an ad. There's all sorts of links within the content below. Any way you can see a good fit with our podcast, please let us know. We're happy to consider all options. But also it may not be you, you may know somebody.
Yeah.
Share it with them, because you know, this audience of mompreneurs are amazing. And I know a lot of people will want to connect with them in one way or another. So
Yes, and we always deliver with kindness, because that's a big part of who we are and a lot of fun.
yes.
So happy Mother's Day, everybody. Follow your dreams. Bye-bye.
Momentum. Two passionate and busy moms sharing their quest to achieve entrepreneurial success.